And good morning once again. It's time for Your Life Matters. It's our weekly visit with clinical social worker Dr. Beth Plachetka from Safe Harbor Counseling and Dr. Beth Speaks. Dr. Beth joins us in studio once again. How are we doing this morning?
I'm good, Mike. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Today appears to be trash day. We've got garbage in the topic here.
We do. Today's topic is garbage in and garbage out. Now, our listeners would not know that I often was sitting around with people who have worked in manufacturing. And that was a phrase that would come up periodically. And what it referred to was, you know, the machine could be wonderful, the operator could be wonderful, the programming could be wonderful, but if the material going in was garbage, the product was not going to be good.
Okay.
And so, you know, there's nothing that if you're the maintenance person that you can do about that except recommend changing that. Well, I thought, okay, so how does that affect, how does that apply to mental health? Well, what we put in our minds is what we play with, and that makes a big difference.
Okay.
So, our question is, what are we watching? What are we listening to? What are we reading? Is our time well spent with those things? Is it developmentally appropriate? I remember being at a movie, and it was a later in the evening movie, not late for an adult, but I remember seeing a 7-year-old going to get a drink or something, and thought, oh my goodness, this child should be tired. And it was one of those deep, it had like a spiritual overtone, but it also had suicide and smoking and just innuendo in it. And I thought, this is the stuff that bad dreams could be made of for this young man.
Sure.
I hope he was not bothered, but it concerned me. So we want to think about what is going in and what do we hear from other people. And we should ask that about not only our movies and our TV programs, which now are readily available,
right.
And our kids can
on your
turn
phone
on any app, walking around with them. But what we read and the music that we listen to, we want to be thinking about, is this only appealing to our baser, most physical senses? Because when it is, it's often something that can be very easily twisted. And it might not be, but we won't know until we find out about it.
Right.
So we're designed as human beings to be inspired in ways that improve life for ourselves as well as others. So here's what my recommendations. First, turn off anything that's questionable. If it's based mainly or solely on violence, sex, corruption, especially corruption without consequences, innuendo and deceit, be very careful. Be vigilant about those developmental stages, and look for things that have that powerful theme. Like, these are old movies, but I think they're classics. It's a Wonderful Life, Steel Magnolias. My Life is an old movie where a dad is dying and he leaves a message for his child.
Michael Keaton. I remember
Michael
that
Keaton
movie.
in the 90s,
Yeah.
yep. And pick books that are interesting, that you can listen to on Audible or however, that broaden your knowledge. A recommendation as a person of interest. It incorporates history and police work. And the history is accurate. The Harbinger, news reporting and history. A Wrinkle in Time. I talked to some a church group just the other night of middle schoolers. I said, who's read this? One adult and one child.
Oh, man.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
It has to be read. Science fiction, family, and the power of love. Awesome. The Power of Eight. The Bible. Bible stories. Life has too many distractions in ways that can lead to discouragement. So we need to really protect our minds by guarding what we put in there, because garbage in equals garbage out. Now, when I was still working at the high school, I found this poem. It's real short, and the kids were astounded. The poem is called Be Careful. It says, be careful of your thoughts, they become your words. Be careful of your words, they become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your destiny, and therein lies the importance of your thoughts. We really got to watch what we put in if we want to be mentally healthy and whole human beings.
That's good stuff. We don't want garbage.
No, we don't. We don't want garbage out for sure, so we don't take garbage in.
Good advice. You can find out more, read more about this topic and all the topics we've discussed if you go online to safeharboril.com. You can listen to past shows, get some resource materials on all of the topics we've covered. Safe Harbor with a Facebook presence, also Dr. Beth Plachetka as well, and you can call Safe Harbor Counseling at 630-466-8657. Join us next week at the same time for Your Life Matters on WSPY.